Oh boy. Today we're diving into a listener's absolutely wild recounting of a Dungeons and Dragons session.
Ah, the tabletop tales. Always good for some drama.
You have no idea. Forget careful plans, forget heroics. This sounds more like a comedy of errors, maybe, played out with dice rolls that clearly hated the players.
The dice gods can be fickle.
Fickle doesn't even cover it. And our listener knows their D&D, so we don't need to explain tasks or anything. We can just jump straight into the glorious train wreck.
Excellent. Lay the scene for us. Where are unfortunate adventurers?
Okay, so picture this. The party is getting ready to assault the fortress of some generic but presumably nasty dark wizard. They're outside, probably hiding behind rocks, and they've just gotten some intel.
Intel? From who? A captured guard? A friendly raven?
Nope. A drow. A dark elf. Showed up during the rogue scouting mission, apparently.
A drow helping the surface dwellers assault a wizard's keep. That's unusual. Either very generous or very suspicious.
My thoughts exactly. So this drow gives them the lowdown. So there's going to be a flank attack happening soon. Maybe the drow's own forces creating a diversion.
Okay, that's useful. What else? Defenses?
Oh, yeah. Mentioned archers who use flying kobolds for target practice. Nice touch. That. Gate guards, bugbears specifically. Maybe some centaurs deeper inside. And goblins, but the drow apparently just waved them off like, hey, goblins, they're weak. Scaries. Like...
Famous last words, usually. Goblins are only weak until there are 20 of them.
Right. And then, the kicker, the drow gives them, wait for it, 7 potions of long rest.
7? Are you serious? That's insane. A potion of long rest is like hitting the adventure reset button. Full health, spells back, everything.
I know. 7 of them. That's not just generous. That's practically the DM screaming, you are going to need these.
No kidding. That's some serious foreshadowing. What catastrophe was this drow expecting? Or causing?
We're about to find out. So the party hears the sounds of the diversion starting explosions, arrows whistling off in the distance. The drow wasn't lying about that, at least.
So far, so good. Time for a stealthy approach.
They try. They creep up to the main gate, and 2 big, burly bugbears spot them. And their reaction, not a roar, not a challenge, just, ugh.
Like seeing the party was just an inconvenience in their day.
Pretty much. And then one of the bugbears, maybe the one who said, ugh, just sort of lazily swings his axe at a chain, holding the gate up. The chain breaks, and the whole massive gate just thuds down.
Anticlimactic. Just drops the gate. No fight.
0 fight at the gate itself. Talk about deflating the tension, like pulling a very rusty, very loud fire alarm.
Okay, so the gate's down. Easy entry, right? Surely nothing can go wrong now.
Famous last words indeed. Because the second that gate hits the dirt, bam, bam. Hidden doors on either side of the entryway burst open.
There it is. The trap.
And out pour goblins. 5 from the left, 5 from the right. 10 goblins total, flanking them immediately. So much for weak and scare easily.
See, never trust intel about goblins being easy. Especially not from a drow. So, 10 goblins, surprise round. How did the party react?
Well, Magnus, the wizard, reacted fast. He just unleashed magic missiles, like boom, auto-hit darts of pure energy.
Good choice for crowd control. How many did he take out?
All 10. One volley. Turned 10 annoying goblins into 10, very quickly, ex-goblins. Efficient, if not exactly subtle.
Okay, wizard doing wizard things. What about the others? Jin, the rogue.
Jin. Oh, Jin. He whips out his short bow and manages to plink 1 goblin. Just 1. After Magnus vaporized 10.
1. Wow. Maybe he was aiming for style points. Or just rolled badly.
Let's be generous and say he rolled badly. Then Shannon, the ranger, had one come right at him. Goblin missed, thankfully. Shannon didn't. Quick stab with the rapier, goblin down. More effective than Jin, anyway.
Okay, so most of the goblins dealt with swiftly, despite the rogue's contribution. Any left?
Just 1. Tried to make a run for it back down the side passage it came from. And this is where Felice comes in.
Felice. What class are they? Bard? Monk?
The notes don't specify, but based on this. Probably a bard or something equally dramatic, because Felice just hisses at the goblins who are peeking out from the passage after the first wave got nuked.
Hisses? Like a cat?
Apparently. A really, really intimidating hiss. The notes say the remaining goblins just went, nope, and scrambled back into hiding.
Okay, that's amazing. Sometimes intimidation is just about being the weirdest person in the room. So, brief moment of quiet.
Brief is the key word, because Magnus, our trigger-happy wizard, fresh off his 10-goblin kill streak.
Oh, no. Don't tell.
He chases the fleeing goblin, runs right into the dark side passage after it.
Without checking for traps. Oh, Magnus, what happens?
What do you think happens? Click. Pressure plate. Fireball trap.
Ouch. How bad?
46 points of fire damage. Left him standing barely with 5 hit points. 5. Went from 0 to hero, back to almost 0 in about 30 seconds.
That is brutal. Serves him right for not letting the rogue go first, but still, ouch. Crispy wizard.
Very crispy. Thankfully, Cecil the Paladin was nearby. Rushed over, laid on hands. Cure Wounds popped him back up by 13 points. Still probably smelling burnt hair, though.
Paladin's always there for the emergency heal on the Reckless Caster. Good. What about the goblin Magnus was chasing?
Oh, Reiki the Warlock took care of that. The goblin was presumably stuck in the passage with the triggered trap. Reiki just zapped it with a sorceress burst.
Well,
problem solved. Permanently.
Efficient. So, passages cleared, wizards singed but alive. Did they finally check for more traps?
And W they did. Jin, perhaps spurred by Magnus's near-death experience, actually did some proper rogue work. Found 2 more pressure plates in those passages.
Uh-huh. What did they do?
One would have sprayed the whole area with flammable oil. Imagine that with the fireball traps.
Yikes. Instant party barbecue. Good catch, Jin. Finally living up to the class name. What was the other trap?
Another fireball, for redundancy. Thankfully, Jin managed to disarm both of them, averted total disaster there.
Okay, crisis slightly averted. They must be feeling pretty nervous now, right?
You'd think. They move cautiously to the next door. The druid uses tremor sense, feeling vibrations in the ground, basically.
Smart. What did they sense?
4 distinct somethings moving around on the other side. Not subtle.
4 somethings. Okay. Ambush waiting.
Oh, yeah. Cecil, the paladin, ever the impatient one apparently, just shoves the door open.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. What's in the room?
It's a square room. Looks like an old guard room, maybe. Tables overturned for cover. And behind the cover, 2 centaurs on each side. Total of 4. And they've all got flaming arrows knocked.
Flaming arrows, okay. Definitely an ambush. The drow mentioned centaurs, right?
Yep, potential centaurs. Potential realized. And they didn't waste any time. The moment the door opens, 2 goblins, who apparently didn't get the scare easily memo either, pop up and chuck flasks of oil.
Oil and flaming arrows. That's a bad combination.
Tell me about it. The centaurs light up, the oil slicks immediately. Cecil the Paladin gets hit, drops to 3 HP. The druid takes a blast too, down to 13 HP. Not a great start to the fight.
Oof. Okay, party's taking damage fast. How do they retaliate?
Shannon the Ranger manages to take out the 2 oil-throwing goblins.
Ah.
Good shot, followed by Hail of Thorns. Clears the minor threats.
Good. Deals with the immediate problem. Now for the centaurs. Magnus's turn. Maybe redeem himself after the fireball incident.
Oh, Magnus tries. He really tries. He attempts to cast Chromatic Orb. Big damage potential there.
Yeah.
Pulls out his diamond component.
And
rolls double natural ones. Snake Eyes. Critical failure.
Oh no, not again. What happens on a double nat 1 chromatic orb?
Spell completely fizzles. Nothing happens. And the diamond component, gone. Just vanishes and crumbles. So Skull failed, and he's out 50 gold pieces worth of diamond.
Wow. Magnus is having the worst day ever. Double nat 1s are just insult to injury.
It gets worse. Remember those bugbears from the hallway? The guys?
Vaguely. I thought they dealt with them or they ran off.
Apparently one was still lurking. Steps out, sees the wizard looking dejected about his failed spell and lost diamond, and just whacks him. 11 damage.
No. After the fireball. And the failed spell.
Yep. Down goes Magnus.
Yeah.
Unconscious.
Yeah.
Again. And the description says he lands right on top of where his diamond probably fell, adding literal insult to injury.
It's just... wow. Comedic tragedy right there. Poor Magnus. Okay, wizard down. What now? Druid's turn.
Druid makes a smart move.
Uh-huh.
Casts spike growth across a chunk of the floor, making it difficult and painful terrain, then wild shapes into a small brown bear. Good tactical thinking. Harder target, defensive spell up.
Smart. Makes it harder for the centaurs to maneuver. What about the bugbear who downed Magnus?
Oh, that bugbear decides it doesn't like the spiky floor. It tries to leave through the door they came in, takes damage from the spikes, shoulders the door frame, which is apparently collapsing now.
Deep is literally falling apart.
Seems like it. Bugbear grabs a big bow and decides to shoot from the doorway instead. Felix tries to mess with its head, casts Crown of Madness.
Ooh, make the bugbear shoot its allies.
Good idea, but it fails. Bugbear shrugs it off. Maybe too angry, maybe just thick-skulled. Felix switches gears, casts Mantle of Inspiration instead, gives allies some temp HP and lets them move as a reaction. Helpful, but not as fun as a mad bugbear.
Still adapting is key. All right, Paladin's turn. Cecil, still at 3 HP, right?
Not anymore. Remember those potions. The druid must have used one earlier, or maybe lay on hands got him higher. Because Cecil, seeing Magnus down and the bugbear setting up shop, does the paladin thing.
Charges in.
Charges right towards the centaur and bugbear in the upper corner. headfirst into danger.
Of course he does.
And guess who decides this is the perfect moment to make an appearance?
Let me guess. The Dark Wizard.
Bingo. Steps out into the hallway right between Cecil and his targets and welcomes the charging paladin with another fireball, point blank.
Are you kidding me? Another fireball. How much damage this time?
28 points. Cecil probably rethinking his life choices right about then. The druid, still in bear form near the blast, gets caught too. Loses bear form, takes more damage, down to 9 HP.
This wizard loves his fireballs. Anyone else hit?
Just them, thankfully. But the good news, if you can call it that, is the fireball finished off that annoying bugbear in the corner. So, silver lining.
Small comfort, I imagine. Okay, Reiki the Warlock. Time for some payback.
Reiki manages to finish off the other bugbear, the one near the entrance, with a sorceress burst and a magic stone. Rolled a nat 20 on the stone attack. Finally, some good luck.
Nice. Okay, bugbears are down. Just the centaurs and the wizard left. Paladin's probably looking rough, though.
Understatement. Cecil picks himself up, swings at the nearest centaur described as leader-like, and misses completely.
Yep.
Whiff!
Oh, come on. After charging into a fireball, he misses.
Yep. And the centaur leader does not miss. Retaliates. Hits Cecil hard. Down goes the paladin. Unconscious. Making death saves.
From charging hero to 0 in 1 round, this fight is brutal. Things are looking really bad now. 2 PCs down.
Just when you think it's over, Jin the Rogue finally does something unequivocally useful. Uses a healing rod. Didn't know he had one on Magnus.
It's the wizard back up. Again.
Yeah, back from the brink. Magnus lives. Again. Probably very confused. Meanwhile, Reiki manages to hit the Dark Wizard with some poison spray and another magic stone. Does some damage, but...
But the wizard escapes?
Yep. Strategically retreats down a side hallway, and they see him chug a potion. Probably healing. Slippery git.
Of course he does. Typical BBG move. Okay, Paladin's still down, though.
Druid's got it covered. Remember those crazy drow potions? Grabs one off Cecil's belt, pours it down his throat. Potion of long rest.
Whoa! Using one of the big guns. Cecil's back up, fully healed.
Fully healed, all spells back, ready to go. That drow's gift is really paying off, albeit in the most painful way possible.
Incredible. Talk about clutch play. Okay, so Paladin and Wizard are back in the fight. How are the centaurs reacting?
One of them shoots Shannon the Ranger with an arrow, just keeping the pressure on. Magnus, perhaps emboldened by his third chance at life, casts magic missile again. Hits both remaining centaurs, spreading the love.
Good. Reliable damage. Shannon
decides to follow the druid's lead. Drinks a potion of long rest too.
They're burning through those potions, but probably necessary at this point.
Totally necessary. Okay, now Felice's turn. Still determined to get that wizard who disappeared down the hall.
Oh, Felice, maybe let the wizard go for a second. Focus on the killer horse people.
Nope. Felice runs down the hall after the wizard and steps on. You guessed it.
Another pressure plate. Seriously.
Seriously. But this one's different. The floor just vanishes under Felice, drops them 20 feet into a pit, plus some fire damage from below, just for fun.
This Keep's architect was clearly a sadist. Felice okay.
Hurt, but alive.
Yeah.
Stuck in a hole. Meanwhile, back in the main room, Cecil, fresh off his magic potion nap, hits the leader centaur and adds a divine smite, plus an inspiring smite.
Paladin power. Big damage. Takes it down.
Big damage. Doesn't quite take it down, but hurts it bad. And then the weirdest thing happens. The other centaur just falls through the floor.
What? Like where Felice fell or just anywhere?
Poof. Gone. Vanished downwards. No trap mentioned, no sound described in the notes. It just fell. Maybe the floor gave way. Maybe it tripped. Who knows?
Okay, that's officially bizarre. One disappearing centaur. What about Jin? Archery time.
Jin tries. Bless his heart, he really tries. Another short bow shot. Another miss. He might need to invest in some crossbow lessons.
Or just stick to traps. Magnus.
More magic missiles at the remaining leader centaur, chipping away. The druid tries a sleep spell on it.
Does it work? Put the angry horse person to sleep.
Nope. Fails.
Yeah.
Centaur is still very much awake and angry. And Felice is still trying to figure out how to get out of the hole.
This is pure chaos. What happens next? Paladin's turn again.
Cecil chucks a javelin at the leader centaur. Another solid hit. This thing must be tough.
It's taking a beating. Does it finally go down?
Nope. Instead, it does something completely unexpected. It rears back and unleashes a blinding sunray attack right at Shannon the Ranger.
Blinding. Oh, great. Ranger's probably their best ranged attacker.
Exactly. Shannon is blinded. And then the centaur also falls through the floor.
The leader centaur just falls through the floor like the other one. What is wrong with this keep?
Right. Is it built on Swiss cheese? Did the wizard cheap out on construction? No explanation. Just gone. So now they have a blinded ranger, no visible enemies in the main room, a wizard who keeps escaping, and Falus stuck in a pit.
Okay, this is peak D&D absurdity. What does the party even do now?
Well, Reiki tries to spot the wizard, but can't see him, then tries to help Felice by lowering a rope, but Felice gets distracted by the rope itself for some reason, maybe admiring the knotwork.
Distracted by the rope while stuck in a pit. Okay, Felice might be the weirdest one in the party.
It's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
Shannon, being blind and probably quite annoyed, casts Fog Cloud, because clearly what this situation needed was less visibility.
Makes perfect sense. Blind the enemy you can't see anyway, and finally Felice.
Felice finally manages to climb out of the hole, and that's where the session ended.
They stopped there. Blinded ranger in a fog cloud, wizard vanished, enemies literally falling through the floor, one party member just climbed out of a hole. That's not a resolution. That's a cliffhanger from hell.
Isn't it beautiful? Just pure, unadulterated chaos. Exploding wizards, disappearing centaurs, a rogue who couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
And Felice's personal vendetta against gravity and architecture.
Exactly. Even with the Drow's help, even with those crazy potions, it just spiraled into this magnificent disaster. Just proves, no plan survives contact with the enemy. Or the dice. Or apparently shoddy dungeon construction.
Absolutely. It's sessions like these you remember, isn't it? Not the flawless victories, but the moments where everything goes completely sideways and you just have to laugh. The absurdity is the point sometimes.
It really is. So listener, after hearing that saga, we've got to ask you, what's the absolute peak of hilarious disaster you've witnessed or experienced in your games? Epic fumbles. Ridiculous plans gone wrong. Enemies doing something utterly inexplicable. Share those stories.
We'd love to hear them. The more chaotic, the better.
Definitely. A huge thank you to our listener for sharing this absolute gem of a session report. What a ride. Thanks for taking this deep dive into delightful pandemonium with us. Until next time, may your rolls be better than Magnus's. And watch your step. Seriously.